Everyone is training for 3 years to stop the android threat. And during the 3 years, everybody was able to get massive gains in power. Both Goku and Vegeta are able to transform into Super Saiyan 2s. Both Gohan and Raditz have grade 4. Piccolo was able to multiply his Kaioken to 65. The humans are able to multiply their Kaioken to times 50. Rain is able to multiply her Kaioken to times 40. And Oren, still getting used to the technique, is able to multiply it to times 20. With Broly, he wasn't able to get the Super Saiyan transformation, but he was able to mix his Akari form with Kaioken times 5. Eventually, 3 years would pass, and everyone meets up at the city. Once they was ready to find the androids, stuff starts to change. They would hear 2 explosions, one at the city where they are and another one at a different city. They are confused and thought the androids was only supposed to attack one city. But they don't have time to think about that, so they decided to separate into 2 groups. So the first group that's gonna check out the other city's destruction will be Vegeta, Raymond, Orin, Raditz, and Tien. And the second group will be Krillin, Yamcha, Broly, Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan. With the first group, they went to go check out who made that explosion, and when they do, they did see 2 androids, but this wasn't 19 and Jiro, this was 14 and 15. Now you're probably a little confused, why did Dr. Jiro make more androids? Well, it's pretty simple, there's way more people on Earth and a lot of strong people. So he really wasn't confident in 17 and 18 alone, so he decided to make 3 more androids. But he only sends out 2 since the last android was pretty dangerous, just like 16. Eventually, when Vegeta's group does meet the androids does ask for Goku, as they're trying to look for him to kill him. But, of course, nobody will rat out Goku. Eventually, this does cause them to get into a fight, but really, is this even worth explaining? Because with a Vegeta that has Super Saiyan 2 and a Raditz that has Super Saiyan grade 4, yeah, I don't think 14 and 15 would survive for very long. So Vegeta and the gang was able to kill 14 and 15. As for Goku's group, they do encounter the same androids in canon, this being 19 and Jiro. Of course, Goku wanted to move locations, and once they do get into a fight. 19 would like normal fight Goku, and this time Goku's able to defeat him, and Goku never gets the heart virus. And there's a lot more people to remind Goku to take his medicine, so Dr. Jiro would be able to escape, and Vegeta's group was able to catch up to Goku's group. Then soon, eventually, the future warriors would have arrived also. Once the future warriors hears about everything that happened, they know that this timeline is completely wrong, and that they're in a whole different timeline. But they still decide to help this timeline, even if it won't change their own. And also, they did bring along Trunks. Now they were trying to find Dr. Jiro's lab. Dr. Jiro would have eventually made it to his lab, and he activates 17 and 18. But like normal, 17 does still kill Jiro, as 17 and 18 would activate 13 and 16. Eventually, when the Sea Fighters do find Dr. Jiro's lab, it's already too late as 4 androids walk out of his lab. Everyone was kind of surprised to see 4 androids. They was expecting to only see 3 androids. The androids will look around at the Sea Fighters and they will be happy to see Goku. 13 would point at Goku, telling him it's time for him to die. And 13 would dash at Goku. Everybody was going to stop him, but Goku tells them to stop and let him fight this guy. They will respect Goku's decision, and 13 and Goku fights each other. But of course, the other androids are just not going to sit there, as 17 will fight the future warriors, 18 would fight the humans, and even though 16 doesn't want to fight anyone else besides Goku, he still decides to help since they're all in the way. So he fights the present Saiyans. For Goku's fight, his fight is intense with 13, but Goku decides to stop playing around and decides to transform into Super Saiyan 2. As 13 is now getting bodied by a Super Saiyan 2 Goku. With 16 is able to handle himself, This 16 is actually way stronger than his normal self, thanks to Dr. Gero upgrading him some more. Eventually, Vegeta would transform into a Super Saiyan 2, and he's able to go on par with Android 16. But with some help with Broly and Raditz, they're able to overpower 13. With 17's fight, he was shocked to see another 18. And he was asking her some questions, but he soon realized that that wasn't 18. It was an imposter. So the Future Warriors was losing to 17, but two people decided to help them out. This was Gohan and Piccolo. And thanks to those two's help, they can actually do some damage to 17. With 18's fight, she's doing pretty decent against the humans. And she can easily overpower all of them, but if they're all teaming up against her, she starts losing ground. So she decides to play the patient game, and as she was easily able to beat down on Chaozu and knock him out. Of course, Tien would have gotten angry and used his Tri-Beam against her. And this was able to do a lot of damage to her. All of the androids was pretty injured, and they wasn't expecting the Sea Fighters to be so strong. The androids already knew that the Sea Fighters wasn't going to allow them to leave. So 16 would decide to sacrifice himself, telling the other androids to leave, and that he will make sure none of them will follow them. Of course, 13 would immediately dip out, while 17 and 18 would be a little hesitant, but they still head off also. Of course, some Sea Fighters did try following the other androids, but 16 wouldn't allow them. For 16's final attack, he will grab on a Goku, and he would tell him that he's gonna blow up. Of course, everyone is shocked to hear about this, but Goku would simply just tell them to all get away from here. Everyone knows if they done that Goku would definitely not survive. But Goku would promise them that he'll survive this. Some people will believe in Goku and decide to leave, taking the promise that Goku told them. And 16 would have blown himself up with Goku, but like what Goku said, he did survive. But he's seriously injured. But thankfully, Krillin did come back and gave Goku a Senzu Bean. And now, if you're wondering how Goku survived the explosion, well, Goku was in Super Saiyan 2 at the moment. And I'm pretty confident that Super Saiyan 2 Goku would be able to survive 16's explosion. So, after healing Goku, they went to go on a search to find the rest of the androids. Right now, the androids are flying away, and they all are thinking on a plan on what to do. 13 has a plan though, as he needs to head back to where 14 and 15 were at, or at least their parts. So eventually they would have made it to a city. As they are looking around, they see people's clothes on the floor. They think that is weird and it's unusual. But eventually, the androids would meet a green person. This green person does greet themselves as Cell, as they do wonder what this Cell person wants. Of course, Cell does want to absorb the androids. Well, 18 and 17. Of course, 18 and 17 is not going to allow that to happen. But Cell does offer 13 a deal, as he does have the parts that 13 needs. But all 13 needs to do is join up with him. 13 would agree to join Cell, because he really does need those parts. Of course, 17 and 18 are both mad that they got betrayed by 13 and they tried attacking him. But Cell doesn't allow that to happen, as he uses a solar flare to blind them both, as he absorbs both 18 and 17, becoming perfect. And like he promised, he did give 13 his parts, as 13 would merge the parts together, as he would transform into his Super 13 self. All the Sea Fighters will felt Cell's ki, and it's immense. They would have went to this key they felt, as they will see Perfect Cell and Super Android 13. But eventually they're even more shocked to hear that the blue guy is actually Android 13 and this Cell creature absorbed the other two androids. Eventually everybody starts to power up to the fullest and attack Cell and 13. But even with everyone there fighting, they all get bodied by Cell and 13. Cell is way stronger just because he has more DNA. and more abilities, as he has Orin, Raymond, Cooler, and Frieza, and Broly's DNA. So while Cell fights, he gets stronger thanks to Broly's DNA. But eventually, 13 is ready to kill off Goku, but Cell tells him to stop, as he tells 13 to let Goku get stronger, as this might be more interesting. Android 13 is hesitant, but he decides to let Goku live, for now at least, since he does have a Kaki boost. So Cell would tell everybody about the Cell games, and both 13 and Cell leaves. Eventually, Kame will call up for everyone to go to the lookout, since he does have a plan for them all to get stronger in a faster way. Of course, everyone will go to the lookout to see what Kame is talking about, but Kame would tell them about the hyperbolic time chamber, and he would tell them how it works, and inside of theirs 1 year, but out the outside world it's in 1 day. Of course, everyone is wondering who's gonna go first, but like normal, Vegeta would drag in Trunks with him, as he does not feel like waiting for everyone, so he goes in first with Trunks. And their training might go the same, but Vegeta might actually train Trunks, and Trunks will be able to transform into a Super Saiyan 2. Eventually, once they leave the hyperbolic time chamber, up next is future Gohan, Raditz, and Goku. You're probably wondering how come present Gohan didn't go with Goku, and present Gohan is going to decide to go with Broly. Of course, the Warriors know that they will have a lower time in the hyperbolic time chamber with more people, but they honestly don't mind. So they go in. They all receive massive gains. For Raditz, he does learn Super Saiyan 2. For Gohan and Goku, this may or may not be a thing, but they do perfect their Super Saiyan 2 forms. But they wasn't able to get no higher forms than that, so they do leave the hyperbolic time chamber. Up next, we got Gohan, Broly, and Baby. The only reason Baby's going along with them is because he doesn't really need no food, so they can stay in there for the full 1 year. So Gohan, Broly, and Baby will walk in, and they do all receive massive gains. Gohan will get Super Saiyan 2. He wouldn't have good control like Raditz does. With Broly, he's getting able to control his Super Saiyan form thanks to Gohan and Baby. And with Baby, since he's in 18's body, he doesn't need to sleep, so he just trains. And even if Broly and Gohan needs to take a break, he doesn't, so he just trains by himself sometimes. So he would probably be the strongest future warrior by now. Eventually they will leave the hyperbolic time chamber, and up next is Raymond, Orin, and Piccolo. And they could actually stay in the hyperbolic time chamber for 1 year. All they need to do is bring extra water for Piccolo, since he doesn't need food. So I think they would do that. So once they started training, everybody of course did get massive gains. With Piccolo, he's able to push his Kaioken to times 90. Maybe even he could push it to times 100. But that's as he is training with 2 strong training partners. So I wouldn't see why he wouldn't be able to increase his Kaioken to that much. For Raymond, her Kaioken could go all the way up to 70. Raymond would of course gotten stronger thanks to having 2 strong training partners. And Orin, he can multiply his Kaioken to times 50. Thanks to Piccolo and Raymond teaching him the ways of the Kaioken. And he got stronger with his ability. Now with the humans, they didn't feel like waiting for everyone. So they decided to go to King Kai's planet and ask for his help, and also train there. King Kai would actually help them, as he did figure out another technique for them to learn. But eventually the 10 days are up, and everybody does go to the Cell games. Both Cell and 13 are pretty excited to see everyone, and is ready to kill them all. Eventually the Cell games does begin, and like normal, Hercule does try to fight Cell, but he easily gets slapped away. Both Goku and Vegeta walk up to the stage, as Goku will walk up towards Cell, while Vegeta will walk up towards 13. 13 of course didn't want to fight Vegeta, but Vegeta simply tells 13 not to underestimate the Prince of all Saiyans. 13 would chuckle as he would just decide to fight Vegeta. With no more words being said, both Goku and Vegeta transform into Super Saiyan 2, charging at their opponents. Both Cell and 13 notice that Goku and Vegeta are stronger than normal, but they don't overpower them. Cell would decide to use more of his power as his aura alone pushes back Goku. So Cell would teleport behind Goku as he knocks him down on the ground. Vegeta would have tried to kick 13, but 13 would have grabbed on Vegeta's leg and give Vegeta the croc punch. Of course, Vegeta would have felt this as he screams in pain as 13 throws him down on the ground, sending a blast towards Vegeta while it consumes him. But Vegeta was of course able to survive, but he's very injured. Both Goku and Vegeta are both on the ground very injured. Of course, Goku was the first one to stand back up as he decided to do something. He wasn't planning on doing it in this fight, but it seems like he has to. So he decides to transform into his Ikari form. And he tells Vegeta to try to control him in case he goes berserk. And with Goku saying that, he decided to merge his Super Saiyan form with his Ikari form. And like normal, Goku does go in a blinding rage. But with Vegeta's help, he's able to control this primal Super Saiyan as he starts to glow intensely. Nobody knows what's happening to Goku, but once he's visible again, they notice that he looks totally different. There's fur on his skin, his hair is longer, and he has different clothes. Of course, you guys know what I'm talking about. This is, of course, Super Saiyan 4. Of course, Goku was not expecting this. He was just expecting more power, not all of this. Even Cell and 13 are confused. What is this new power, this new transformation? And of course, Vegeta's jealous. He was the one to teach Kakarot the Ikari form, and he's all of a sudden has his new transformation. Of course, Vegeta wouldn't let this slide as he decided to merge Super Saiyan with Ikari once again. And he would go in a blinding rage. But Goku would notice that he needs help, so he will decide to help Vegeta on trying to control his power. Eventually, this will work as Vegeta is also transforming into a Super Saiyan 4. Eventually, when Vegeta did get the transformation, he's shocked at how much power that he has. Vegeta smiles as he knows that he has the power to defeat Android 13. 13 will be kind of nervous, but he still tells Vegeta not to get too cocky. With Cell and Goku, they both look at each other, saying no words. But Cell eventually tells Goku that he's the perfect being in the whole universe. He should not lose to no Saiyan. Cell powers up even more, unleashing more of his power, as they both would clash. For Vegeta's battle, Vegeta and Android 13 are going at it, but while they're battling, Vegeta clearly has the upper hand, as he has more power than Android 13. 13 would be shocked to see how much stronger Vegeta got in. The battle does keep on going on, but eventually Vegeta is able to break one of Android 13's arm. Android 13 is shocked and he says no more games as he flies up towards the air. Android 13 puts one hand up as he charges up the most strongest blast he can do. As 13 is charging up his move, Vegeta decides to show off a move that he haven't been able to, as he spreads out his hands, charging a blast in both of them. 13 would tell Vegeta to die as he sends his blast down towards Vegeta, but Vegeta tells that this final move of his will disintegrate 13, as Vegeta put both of the blasts together, merging his hands, as he says, "Final Flash!" As Vegeta's humongous blast easily disintegrates 13's blast. 13 would put up one hand to at least try to defend himself, but it's useless as 13 is consumed by Vegeta's blast and soonly disintegrated. Vegeta would smile, calling him trash. Now with Goku and Cell's fight, they both are fighting each other, and surprisingly, they are actually even. And Cell is so powerful thanks to all the DNA he has, especially Broly's, as Cell is growing stronger while he fights. And soon enough, Goku will start to notice that, as he can't play around with Cell, so he needs to finish this as fast as possible. So Goku would power up and fly towards Cell as he would kick him in his gut and send him up in the air. But then eventually Cell's launched back down towards the ground. And this wasn't Goku who launched Cell down, this was Vegeta, as both Goku and Vegeta are gonna decide to team up to defeat Cell. Now Cell does know how much trouble he is in, but he does have an idea. As he starts to power up even more, he decides to scream out, Kaioken times 5! Both Goku and Vegeta are shocked that Cell can use the Kaioken, but Cell immediately charges at them, and the battle begins as both Goku and Vegeta are being both bodied by Cell. But they are able to manage thanks to their teamwork. Cell was screaming at them, telling them that he's the most perfect being and he will never lose to Saiyans, as he says, Kaioken times 10! Both Goku and Vegeta are shocked by how much Cell can use the Kaioken multiplier. If he keeps on adding more, then his body is definitely going to explode. But Cell at this point doesn't even care, as that he has the DNA of everyone. Cell would charge at Goku and Vegeta, as he's able to kick Vegeta away and punch Goku in the gut. And he starts to wail on Goku. Vegeta would try to kick Cell from behind, but Cell was easily able to tank the kick. Cell would have easily kicked away the beaten up Goku as he focuses on Vegeta now. But while he's fighting Vegeta, he feels weird, like his body is starting to hurt. Cell keeps on beating up Vegeta, but until his body just gives up on him, and as Cell would drop on the floor, losing Kaioken, and his body is in so much pain right now, due to him using the higher rates of Kaioken. Both Goku and Vegeta would see the time to use this opportunity to defeat Cell. They both would charge up a final flash and Kamehameha, as they would tell Cell that this is the end for him, as they sent the blast down towards Cell. Cell would scream out no as he gets consumed by the blast and instantly get disintegrated. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this long part, as I definitely got lazy at the end, but it doesn't matter. If we can get this video to 30 likes, then JokuTube What Is can make another part. Anyways, I'll always see you guys in the next one. Subscribe and join the Discord. Peace.